Approval of interlocal cooperative agreement between Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 and Hidalgo County that relates to the lease agreement of 3.49 acre tract of land out of Lot 15, Section 245, Texas Mexican Railway Company Survey, Hidalgo County, Precinct 4 property, 1102 North Doolittle. What we'd like to do is for the board to consider a lease with Precinct Number 4 while they have their movement to the new facility.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5A, requesting approval to purchase uniforms from UniFirst through the district's membership with the NJPA contract number 012111 UFC. This is the purchase of uniforms for the new employees that were brought on.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. Excuse me. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval to renew technical support with Dell under the district membership was DIR contract number 42 AFU. This is our yearly contract, total of $1,527.78 with Dell computers.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
5C, presentation of scoring grid of the firms evaluated through the district pool of title company services for the purpose of ranking by the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors in connection with title report service for Mayberry Manor, Mission, Texas. The two firms were South Texas Land Investigation and Valley Land and Title Company. South Texas Land Investigation with a 91 and Valley Land and Title Company with an 80.
Okay.
This is for a fence line issue. It's not that we're acquiring any property. We just need the legal description on it. Will the board consider holding a ranking or scoring as stands?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D, requesting authority to negotiate agreement with the number 1 ranked firm of South Texas Land Investigation for the provisions of title report services as it relates to the Mayberry Manor, Mission, Texas.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E, presentation of scoring grid of the firms evaluated through the district's pool of title company services for the purpose of ranking by Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors in connection with the title report services for North Donald Lateral. The two firms again were South Texas Land Investigation and Valley Land Title, with South Texas with 91 and Valley Land Title with an 80. Again, this is just for a fence line issue. It's not that we're acquiring any properties, so we're not getting a title commitment. It's just a title report.
It won't take that long then.
No, sir.
Okay, move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item F, requesting authority to negotiate agreement with the number 1 ranked firm of South Texas Land Investigation for the provision of title report services as it relates to the North Donald Lateral.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Under 2013 Bond Series, Item G, requesting approval of work authorization number 15 in the amount of $279,243.92 for Tezzi Infrastructure Group as it relates to the drainage outfall development of State Highway 68, Segment D, portion of the TxDOT project, and the Hidalgo County RMA IBTC project in Precinct 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item H, requesting approval of final negotiated agreement with Edwards Abstract and Title Company for title company services as it relates to Precinct Number 2, 2012 Bond Referendum Rural Drainage Development Program approved for negotiations by Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors on July 17, 2013.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item A, requesting approval of a negotiated agreement with Lionel Garza Jr. and Associates, LLC for appraisal services as it relates to Precinct 2, 2012 Bond Referendum Rural Drainage Development Program approved for negotiation by the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on July 17, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item J, requesting approval to advertise for the following as it relates to Precinct 2, 2012 Bond Referendum Rural Drainage Development Program, RFB number 130170918A, Northside Village Area Drainage Improvements. Can I read them all, Steve, or do I need to take action on each individual one?
You can read them all.
Thank you. Item 2, RFB number 130180918B, Hidden Valley Estates Area Drainage Improvements. Number 3, RFB number 130190918C, Minnesota Village Area Drainage Improvements. Number 4, RFB number 130200918D, Seminole Valley Area Drainage Improvements. RFB number 130210925A, FM 495 Drain, Trenton Field Road Crossing. 6 RB number 1302200925B, FM 495 Drain Wisconsin Road Crossing. These are all projects we're requesting authorization to advertise.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
Doctor, this is on the rural area.
This is the first batch of projects that are going out for the Rural Drainage Development Commissioner. Your engineer has given us the information ready to advertise for improvements. This will be the first series of projects that are going out on the bond referendum.
So it's one of the first projects to,
This is the first package of construction projects in the bond referendum.
thank you.
May I proceed?
Those are in precinct 2 of them.
Those are in precinct 2, Commissioner. All of them are in precinct 2 in this batch.
Thank you.
May I proceed?
Next item, yes.
Item K. Did y'all take a vote on it? I'm sorry.
Yes.
They did? Okay. Item K, requesting approval to advertise for the following as it relates to Precinct 1, 2012 bond and referendum improvements. RFB number 1302400926A, drainage improvements, project east down of drain flood pumps. Item 2, RFB number 1302500926B, drainage improvements project, Mercedes lateral flood pumps. Item 2, RFB number 1302500926B, drainage improvements project, Mercedes lateral flood pumps. 3, RFB number 1302600926C, drainage improvements project, South Mercedes drain flood pumps. Item 4, RFB number 1302700926D, drainage improvements project, Westaco drain flood pumps. 5, RFB number 13028109A, Monte Cristo drain control structure. 6, RFB number 13029109B, Westaco north lateral control structure.
Move for approval of K 1 through 6.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item L, requesting approval to advertise RFB number 1302300925C, JL9 drainage improvements phase 1 construction.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Under item 6.
Item
approval-
6.
Approval to renew updated existing drainage advisory committee. At the meeting that took place for the drainage district several months back, the commissioners were notified or contacted from the judge's office regarding the appointment or reappointment of the board members. We do have 2 replacements on the committees that were presented to us. I believe Jaime from the judge's office has more details on it. But the 2 replacements that we have under the judge's office is from a Dora Brown to a John Womack, and under Commissioner Flores, the replacement of Mayor Jorge Garcia with Ricardo Villarreal.
Godfrey, and if I
Yes,
may
sir.
for the record, I have 2 replacements, and if I can read them for the record.
Yes, sir, please.
In replace for Rene Barrera, we're switching to George Lazaro. And in replace of Richard Lefevre, we're appointing Bill Marshall. Moshel.
For which one, sir?
For replacing Richard Lefevre.
Okay. And I believe Commissioner Cuellar has some items, but he is not here at the time.
There he is. He's
Oh,
here.
there he is. What we were talking, Commissioner, is the advisory board. I don't know if you've got your replacement members ready yet, or if you want me to bring your particular item next week for...
No, I don't have my names yet on the,
I'll bring it back next
I
week.
wanna delete some and get some new ones.
Would you like me to bring it back next week for you, sir?
Please.
Very good, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and approve the nominees that we've been made today.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioner, we do have an item under executive session for the board to consider.
No action on number 7, correct?
Excuse me, sir?
No action on number 7?
On number 7?
No action on that item. No action on items number 7.
We have an item to go into executive session for discussion.
Yeah, but item 7.
Item number
yeah,
7,
listed
we're
on
just
number
not going to
7.
take any action.
Okay.
All right, pursuant to 551-071 and 072, need a motion to proceed to executive session.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Cómo estamos?
Godfrey.
right, we're back in open session. Mr. Garza?
Judge, Commissioners, I would just like direction to proceed as directed. No action was taken in executive session.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you very much.
Thank you, God. At this time, we're going to be convening a regular Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting for today, August 13, 2013. The entire court is present. I know Mr. Palacios is here. We obviously have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the blessings that you give us. Help us always to deserve these blessings. Special blessings today to all the people who work for justice in this county. Please help us to have a peaceful, wonderful nation, no more wars. Please bless our nation, bless our county, bless our families, and please, dear Lord, if it's your will, please send rain. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, at this time, we're going to proceed by taking some items out of order. We're going to begin by addressing item number 6A, a resolution honoring our 332nd District Court Judge, the Honorable Mario E. Ramirez, Jr.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, and good morning to all of you.
Karina Cardoso with the Public Affairs Office. We are honored today to recognize Judge Mario E. Ramirez, Jr., and he's joined here with his family, his friends, and many of his colleagues, as you see in the front row. Someone mentioned it looks like the Supreme Court when they walked in here. We're honoring a man who is a native of Roma and has been an exemplary public servant, the Honorable Judge Mario E. Ramirez, and I'm going to ask him at this time to come join me at the podium with members of his family. He's joined today with his wife, Noelia, his daughter, Rebecca, and his father, Dr. Mario Ramirez, Sr. We are honoring him today because in January of this year, he celebrated his 30th anniversary serving as judge of the 332nd District Court. Congratulations, Judge. I would like to recognize also members of his court staff who are here as well. Tutsi Barrera, Court Coordinator, Damian Carranza, Assistant Court Coordinator, Regina Vasquez, Court Reporter, and Joe Perez, who's the bailiff and interpreter. And if I may please, Judge, read the resolution.
Yes, please.
Resolution honoring Judge Mario E. Ramirez, Jr. Whereas Mario E. Ramirez, Jr., a native of Roma, Texas, is Hidalgo County's senior judge and the longest-serving, currently presiding judge in Hidalgo County and in the 5th region of the state of Texas. Judge Ramirez has been an exemplary public servant, a model of justice and integrity, and an astute voice of wisdom and leadership in Hidalgo County's judicial system. And whereas, born in 1950 to Dr. Mario E. Ramirez, Sr. and the late Sarah Ramirez, Judge Ramirez graduated from Rio Grande City High School in 1968. Upon graduating from high school, he attended the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, and obtained his Bachelor of Arts degree in 1972. Judge Ramirez decided to pursue a legal career and attended St. Mary's University School of Law in San Antonio, Texas, where he graduated with a Juris Doctorate in 1974. And whereas Judge Ramirez began his professional vocation as a public servant, commencing his career as an attorney for the Department of Public Welfare in 1975, and later opened a private practice. Judge Ramirez also served as Assistant Municipal Court Judge for the City of McAllen from 1976 through 1980. And whereas in 1980, Judge Ramirez was appointed by Hidalgo County Commissioners Court as Judge of County Court at Law No. 2, beginning his tenure serving Hidalgo County residents. In 1981, Judge Ramirez was appointed by then-Governor Bill Clemens as Judge of the 93rd State District Court. The following year, Judge Ramirez was appointed by then-Governor Mark White as State District Judge of the newly created 332nd State District Court. On January 1st, 1983, Judge Ramirez began his long and illustrious occupancy in this particular courtroom and has been the sole office holder of the court since its inception. And whereas Judge Ramirez, a lifelong public servant with numerous honors and recognitions to his name, serving as the presiding judge of the Hidalgo County Board of Judges from 2005 to 2007, past president and director of the Hidalgo County Bar Association, committee member of the 5th Administrative Judicial Region of Texas Death Penalty Qualified Attorney Selection Committee since 2007, committee member of the State of Texas Legal Services to the Poor in Civil Matters Committee since 2007, and board member of the Texas Department of Juvenile Justice Advisory Council on Juvenile Services Committee since 2013. Judge Ramirez has also received awards by the Texas State Senate and Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for his 20 years of service in 2003. And whereas a diligent advocate for the protection and improvement of life for youth, Judge Ramirez also presently serves as the judicial overseer of the Hidalgo County Juvenile Probation Department, and in 2009 became the namesake of the newly expanded Mario E. Ramirez Jr. Juvenile Justice Center, a short-term stay facility for 96 male and female juveniles to help better address and treat juvenile delinquents. Judge Ramirez continues to work to help bring troubled youth through the justice system and steer them away from a life of crime. And whereas Judge Ramirez is married to Noelia Ramirez, they have 3 children, Melissa Ramirez, Rebecca Ramirez Stalker, and Mario Eduardo Ramirez. Judge Ramirez has been an influential model throughout his children's lives. 2 of his children, Melissa and Eduardo, have followed in his footsteps and become attorneys themselves. Rebecca continues his legacy of public service and helping others, serving as the director of the Hope Family Health Clinic in McAllen. And whereas this January marked the 30th year since Judge Ramirez first took office as judge for the 332nd State District Court of Texas. Judge Ramirez has been the only judge of this court and was most recently re-elected without opposition into office in 2012. Though Judge Ramirez likely celebrated the 30th anniversary with little deviation from his normal daily activities, he deserves utmost respect and recognition for this momentous milestone of achieving 33 total years on the bench. He also merits sincere appreciation for his many years of selfless public service to Hidalgo County residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby recognizes and congratulates the Honorable Judge Mario E. Ramirez Jr. for his tremendous accomplishments throughout his legal and judicial career, for his leadership and commitment to improving the lives of youth, and for his dedication to serving the citizens of Hidalgo County and the state of Texas. Approve this 13th day of August, 2013.
Move to approve. Second. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Say a few words? I am a man of few words. Commissioners, thank you so much for this honor. I really appreciate it. I was here 10 years ago, and I remember saying I had been told it would be a cold day before I got this type of award, but now it's not a cold day anymore. And so the Commissioners Court has changed somewhat since then, and I appreciate the new members voting me this honor. I really appreciate it, and your friendship, as always, is deeply appreciated by me. Thank you again. My colleagues are all here, and most of them are here, and I really appreciate their being here, taking time out from their busy schedules to be here, and really appreciate it. My friends that are here also, thank you so much for coming. I really don't have much else to say except thank you all very much. People ask me, how does it feel? How do you feel? I feel old. I remember I was a school board attorney when Commissioner Palacios was a member over in FAR, and Ramon and I have been colleagues and friends forever. Commissioner Flores was here the last time. Mr. and Joey, known Joey and his family forever, and wish your dad could be here. Anyway, thank you all very much, appreciate it.
Well, Judge, on behalf of the residents of our county, Hidalgo County, we want to express our very sincere gratitude for your 33 years of public service to our community.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Judge, if I may, just a couple of comments. In the words of my father, and he passed away a few years ago, he was very special and he thought the world of you, Judge. I know if he was here, he'd give you his heart and just say you've done an impeccable job in the 30 years. Another part is a testimonial that over 25 years ago, I found myself in front of you and my father, and we had the talk of talks, which changed the rest of my life. And I just want you to know that I owe you a great debt of gratitude for the help that you've been, the friend that you have been, and the work that you did in me. And I want to thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and I appreciate your friendship over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, before you leave, somebody with a camera needs to stand up here and take this
Okay.
picture.
Make sure I get my good side.
Hey, Judge,
Actually, we're going to take a couple of photos, Judge. We can have the Commissioners Court with Judge Mario and his family
But
first.
I wanted to take a picture of
We're going to get to
everyone in the
that.
audience.
Yes, we're going to get to all the judges. That's why they're here in their robes to take a photo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Palacios is going to say a few words.
very few, Mom. Now, we do go back several moons ago, and you should be proud, but your family, I'm sure, is proud, if not prouder than you are. And just to make a point, I'm going to ask Judge Palacios if he can stand up, please. Mario, we go back when Jay was, the judge. Back in, he was in high school at the time. And we went through quite a bit of change in the school district and in the county. But I recall your dad, when I first met him, we were fishing in that area, and one of my compadres had a hook on his thumb. We went to his office, and we'll never forget it. It was a small clinic, and he showed us in. He looked at his eyes, nothing. So he took some pliers or an instrument, cut part of the hook off, and just pulled it out, put a Band-Aid on it, and said, "You're okay." So Mario, Judge, and your family, I'm proud to have served and be acquainted with him. And I can name a few of the judges here, but it'll take us too long. But I'll go back to Judge Flores, who was back in high school. And, but I'm real proud of you. I'm proud of your family. And I wish you well the next 20 years. Sure.
All right. You need to take one with the judiciary. Okay.
Stand here, you can get off.
Okay, everyone go ahead and take a look at me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. And there we go. Okay. Now, Judge, if you want to take a picture with me. Okay, we're going to ask all of y'all to stand. This one more. Here. Pick up here. And in the line. Facing this way. Facing this way. Yes. Yes. Can Can you guys?
You want two rows?
No, you do it as close as you can. As close as you can. Okay. Squeeze more? More. How's that? Is that better?
Pues que, este chiquito.
No hizo flash.
No flash. That it?
What did they stand in front? We yell. In the front, kind of staggered.
Maybe, we stay with the
Bobby, hey, we're gonna put this picture in the new courthouse building. I will.
Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and raise up the taxes by 5%.
Se lo vamos a quitar a Indigent Healthcare y meterlo a la corte yo.
¿Verdad?
Big honor, the only holder of it.
Tito, you probably would look good in one of those capes. You would probably look good in one of those capes.
Te vamos a regalar una, Tito.
You would probably
Una
look
capa de esas.
Judge, thank you, sir. Congratulations, Judge.
Keep it up.
Take the softball girls out of order now?
Yes.
Okay, do you know what item it is?
No.
19A.
actually did by my boyfriend.
Oh, no, I got that.
Like 5.
Oh, the one on Western and on Western Road? Western Road to 7 Mile?
He was chasing the guy, stole the car and stopped there.
I heard that guy tried to run away after he had the guy was driving the car.
But we were there with those who welding, the welding comment over there. I think EPA.
Yes, Captain.
Big accident.
Isn't the issue on that? Nothing been an engineering contract.
You said
Buying the
6,000.
assets from the county to give you all the $6 million.
Okay.
So it's not an engineering contract, it's a purchase of the assets from the
Pero
county.
compadre, ¿no?
Está bueno.
The only
So everybody thought that was an engineering contract. There's no engineering contract.
the first one.
Item 7, there's no action. That's what we're buying the assets.
All right. Let's get back to our agenda, and we're going to be taking one more item out of order. That's item 19A, a Precinct 2 item, a resolution honoring the 8U McAllen All-Star Girls Softball Team.
Good morning, Judge. Raul Seguero representing Commissioner Palacios. Yes, sir, we have a resolution honoring a group of young athletes who won the World Series in their age group, for their group, and I have Ms. Angela Garcia, who works in our office, to read the resolution.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Good morning.
If I can have all the girls come up here to the front while I read the resolution. We only have 9 of the 13 girls present today, but the team consisted of 13 girls. Oh, yeah, girls.
Okay. All right.
Where they from, PSJ?
Okay.
They're gonna win district. Here comes another 4 years or so.
Okay, today we are here honoring a team of 13 girls ranging in ages from 7 to 8 years old who became the reigning 2013 Pony Slow Pitch World Series champions on July 26, 2013. The McAllen All-Stars 8U softball team is coached by Andrew Munoz, Joe and Shauna Belkey, and Juan Elizondo, who spent many hours training the team for the World Series tournament held in White Settlement, Texas. It's a little town in the suburbs of Fort Worth. Through their hard work and dedication, the team became champions by defeating 8 opponents to win the title of the 2013 Pony Slow Pitch World Series champions. Today, present, along with the girls, we have some of the parents: Elizabeth Suarez, Jessica Luna Fabela, Violet Ramirez, Hilario Ortiz, Joanna Rodriguez, Joe and Nidia Garza, Tony Martinez, myself, Angela Garcia, and Laura Ornelas. If I may read the resolution?
Yes.
Whereas the McAllen All-Stars 8U softball team became the reigning 2013 Pony Slow Pitch World Series champions on July 26, 2013. Whereas the team is made up of 13 girls ranging in ages from 7 to 8 years old who came from different cities in Hidalgo County to form the McAllen All-Star team. They include Autumn Belkey, Deja De Leon, Jenica Favela, Hannah Garcia, Jada Garza, Ivory Gutierrez, Luz Martinez, Anaí Muñoz, Juliana Ornelas, Mia Ortiz, Alexis Ramirez, Isela Rodriguez, and Caitlin Solis. And whereas these softball players are coached by Andrew Muñoz, Joe and Shauna Belkey, and Juan Elizondo, who each spent countless hours mentoring and training the team in preparation for the journey to the World Series. And whereas the road to the World Series included their participation in the sectional tournament in McAllen, Texas, where they competed against other teams from Hidalgo County and placed first, and then advanced to the regional tournament in Weslaco, Texas, where they played against teams from Cameron County, Corpus Christi, Laredo, and Kingsville, and placed fifth. And whereas the 2013 Pony Slow Pitch World Series tournament was held in White Settlement, Texas, and during the 4-day tournament, the team played 7 games and defeated 8 opponents to win the title of the 2013 Pony Slow Pitch World Series champions. And whereas a pony organization instilled a new tradition and retired the jersey of a player from the winning team. This year, that player was shortstop Autumn Belkey, and her number 8 jersey now hangs in the Pony Hall of Fame in Washington, Pennsylvania. And whereas these young adults have displayed incredible discipline, determination, and success, bringing great pride to their families, Hidalgo County, and the great sport of softball. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby recognizes and congratulates the McAllen All-Star 8U softball team on their tremendous accomplishments and victory as the reigning 2013 Pony Slow Pitch World Series champions. Approved this 13th day of August 2013.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
You need let's take a picture with him.
Stay up here?
Yeah. Okay.
So you can take a picture.
The coach?
Go ahead and take a look at me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, great.
Congratulations, girl.
Congratulations, Coach.
Mr. Guajardo, do you have an item on the agenda?
Actually, I do, Judge. I'm here in public forum, and then we've got an item on the agenda as well.
All right. Well, you know, we do have a policy of taking elected officials out of order. If you won't care to tell me what item it is, though.
It is $11A.
All right, go ahead.
In accordance with Texas Local Government Code Section 130.902, the county clerk is requesting approval to increase the current change funds from $320 as follows. The breakdown is there in front of you, Judge. I don't know if you want me to read them. These are our cashiers, our cash boxes. We're increasing what we've got in there just to better serve the public. One's being moved from $300 to $400, one from $200 to $300, one from $180 to $300.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Judge, we also have District Clerk Laura Hinojosa in the audience on the back row.
Good morning, Laura. Do you have an item on the agenda?
No, sir, actually, we're here. I thought only I was
Okay.
the other parts.
Well, come on over and tell us what you want to say.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Arturo Fajardo and I are here on behalf of the Hidalgo County EFSP Fair, which will be held on Friday, the 16th, from 10 to 3, which is a fair that Hidalgo County is hosting so that we can let everybody know what is coming with regards to the Supreme Court mandate, which takes place January 2014. At this time, I'd really like to thank the IT department, the county clerk's office and staff, the district clerk's office and staff, as well as the public affairs division of Hidalgo County, because there has been a true media blitz put out there, as well as a grassroots effort to let all attorneys and their staff know about what is coming. Arturo?
If you'll recall, Judge Commissioners Karina mentioned last week in Commissioners Court Open Forum and explained that the Supreme Court has mandated several counties throughout the state of Texas to go strictly on e-filing now in civil cases. That is probably going to be the single most largest change to the way Texas courts operate in the past 200 years. So in preparation for that, we're trying to get the word out, prepare the lawyers. We've been meeting with all the judges that were here. Their life is going to change now, dealing with electronic filings rather than paper form. So this is just an effort to invite the legal community to Hidalgo County to come over, the lawyers especially that are going to be filing civil cases in Hidalgo County. It's now all going to be electronically filed. So that's what we're here for today, to invite all the lawyers to come join us on Friday. This will be from 10 to 3. We will have some of the electronic filing providers there so that they can meet one-on-one and they can start learning as to how this process is going to work. Any questions or comments?
Not under open forum, but what are you going to do with lawyers that don't even have computers?
It's a mandate. It's a Supreme Court mandate, so they're going to have to figure it out.
Yes, and again, Judge, this is just a way that the attorneys will have a hands-on experience with the vendors. So we encourage all of the attorneys, their staff, and anybody who wants to come. It's free. Again, it's from 10 to 3. It is on Friday, August 16th. It will be over in the district clerk area of the courthouse. And we will also be having the ribbon cutting for the judicial annex starting at 9. The ribbon cutting ceremony we felt would be a great way to get the public in addition to having the fair. So again, that's Friday, August 16th at 9 o'clock for the ribbon cutting ceremony for the judicial annex, and from 10 to 3 for the EFSP fair with tours and talking with the vendors. So we encourage all of you to please come as well.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move back to item number 4, our consent agenda.
¿Todo bien? Everything good?
Everything okay?
Motion approved.
Need a second? Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Open forum, first presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Constitution of the United States is considered to be the foundation of our democratic process. I am here under my First Amendment right to petition my government for a redress of grievances. My list of grievances consists of these violations of my civil rights. I was petitioned for divorce. The 5th and 14th Amendments prohibit the government from taking my property without just compensation. Also, I am not to be denied the right to life, liberty, or property. The court decided our community property was excess land with no value, which could not be divided. The court divided $650,000 that did not exist, $383,500 to Joe, and $266,500 to me. I appeal this decision to the 13th Appellate Court. The 13th Appellate Court ruled all property owned by Joe and me, not included in the divorce settlement, remains owned equally by Joe and me. The 13th Appellate Court affirmed the decision of the lower court on grounds that I am mentally ill because I said I was. No, that was other people that were saying that, which violates the 15th Amendment to the Texas Constitution, which requires testimony from medical professionals, of which there is none. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States reads, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." In violation of the 13th Amendment of the Constitution, I have been held in police-enforced false imprisonment by court order for almost 17 years. The Sixth Amendment states that during a public trial, I am to be confronted with the witnesses who are accusing me. No one has ever faced me with proof that he bought and paid for my land, claims to be the owner of my land, and accuses me of trespassing on land that belongs to him. That accuser has never been presented. No prosecutor has ever identified who I am supposed to be trespassing on. I have been run through 2 trials that do not address any issues or resolve any. These 2 trials were deliberately planned and executed for the purpose of a 3rd trial to portray me as a repeat offender. It begins with a court hearing in which dismissal of the case is announced. And when I think, good, it's finally over, and go back on land that I own, the police arrest me and put me through another trial. Amendment number 4 forbids the search and seizure of records from one's home. My records have been stolen, rewritten, and defaced. My house has been pillaged and vandalized. Amendment number 3 states in time of peace, no one is to be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner. Amendment number 8 prohibits the use of cruel and unusual punishments. As an American citizen, I expect the court to uphold the Constitution and release me and my community property. Thank you for your time.
Next presenter is Beth Barnes.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'm Beth Barnes, and I'm from Mission, Texas. So I'm here to tell you about something that's very dear to my heart. Since there's some controversy from last week that needs to be discussed, Texas law allows open carry of lawn guns only, while handguns can only be carried concealed. On August 7th, a patriot attempted to exercise his rights under Texas law and take a picture of him carrying his gun openly in front of the McAllen Police Department. On that day, he had requested and had received permission to do so in Brownsville, San Benito, and Harlingen. There were no issues until McAllen, Texas. He was told that he could not do that and to leave the property. He left but called some friends to discuss the issue. He called the PD and informed them that he was returning to the police station to file a complaint. He was met by several McAllen police officers with drawn guns. They arrested him and charged him with criminal trespass and carrying a weapon in a restricted area. His rifle never left his truck in the parking lot until McAllen PD removed it. It seems that McAllen PD officers, in error or ignorance, considered the parking lot a restricted area. It is not. Driveways and parking lots are not considered the premise of a building. Peaceful, open carry of long guns will probably continue in the valley with marches in streets, in restaurants, and in shopping areas. Every municipal jurisdiction needs to ensure that police officers understand the law and properly enforce it. Area business owners, civic leaders, and the public must be informed of the law to prevent alarm. Thank you.
Next presenter is Ferd McCleary.
A little more about what Beth is talking about. You never saw a Texas pickup with a Texas man in it without a shotgun and a .22 across the back of his truck. The only reason why you don't see it any longer is people break into the vehicle and steal the guns, or they just break in and take the truck. So that's the only reason why you don't see them in the parking lots right now. My thing today is, I see that we have a workshop on the new courthouse. I noticed that STC is wanting a bond issue. They want to raise on a $100,000 home, another $35. I see that Edinburgh School District went over saw a meeting, and they're wanting to raise what we already pay by $110.50. And we're talking future medical school in a couple of years that will be a taxing entity. Do y'all ever think about this on the little guys? Y'all sit up there, some of y'all can afford it, and there's no problem. I found out what the STC president earns. She got plenty of money to pay for the taxes, but the people that are working, trying to make a living right now just to keep our businesses and our homes going, more taxes, we can't afford another burden. So when y'all are thinking about this and how you're going to pull this money out of the air or whatever for the new courthouse and the different things, all the other entities, if they watch this meeting, the taxpayers can't afford it. The businesses can't afford it. Thank you.
Next presenter is Karina Cardoso.
Ms. Hinojosa and Mr. Mojardo actually already presented on this. Just a reminder about the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Judicial Annex will be held on Friday, August 16th at 9 a.m. So we invite all of y'all to attend and to share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.
Item 6B.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 6B is authorization for the county judge to sign the City of Edinburgh application for nonprofit rental rates, the form used for use of the city auditorium. The county judge's office was approached by a community organization, by Valley Interfaith, and several other organizations that are interested in holding a press conference that will include mayors and mayors from throughout the county, and they wanted to use this particular venue and in conjunction with the county to actually have a press conference regarding the Affordable Care Act, the enrollment period that begins on October 1st. October 1st, of course, is when residents are allowed to sign up for the Affordable Care, for the open enrollment period begins for the Affordable Care Act, and they want to hold this function on September 15th of this year. The City of Edinburgh has graciously agreed to allow the County of Hidalgo to use the facility at no cost to the county.
Move for approval.
Judge, this application requires some a fee be paid, a rental fee. There's no funding information provided to that effect.
The City of Edinburgh has asked us to go ahead and fill out the form. They will not be requiring any kind of fee whatsoever, no deposit whatsoever for the County of Hidalgo, but nonetheless, they do need the form signed as to actually put it onto their calendar.
No, thank you.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Item 7, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. There's no action under item 7A, 1 and 2, unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. Item 7B, Judge, Commissioners, I will present or I will report to the court. I think the court is well informed now that We do have courts operating out of the modulars, which is now called the Judicial Annex at the courthouse. With that being said, I've spoken to Mr. Flores this morning. We are now making preparations at the old administration building, first and second floor, to start the renovation process of that building. There is some paperwork from former offices that were there that we will be cleaning out this week. I'll have a report next week as to the timeline of that renovation process. And then item 3, there are no emergency situations from the last Commissioners Court. Item C, Judge Commissioners, I'm asking approval to accept the settlement check from Endeavor General Agency, LLC, in the amount of $482.64, and this is to settle an auto accident with one of our county vehicles.
Second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 7D is approval of closing documents for the purchase of Brewster School property from Edinburgh Consolidated Independent School District and authority for county judge to execute same. Mr. Crane's got a couple words on this.
Judge, we prepared the closing documents. It's now ready to close, and I have the documents here for you to sign.
Judge, if I may explain, the Brewster property is property located on the east side of the school. The county, the precinct has an agreement with the school district to purchase the land and enter in a partnership deal on the park development side, on the east side. We're using Urban County funds. The school is going to be donating the funds also for the development of the park, and it's a project we're looking forward to doing this coming month, or at least begin.
Is this park gonna be open all the time?
It's going to be like our other parks, it's secured at nights for security reasons, but it'll be open throughout the day.
Where is it going to be located?
It's going to be directly east of the school property.
That, okay.
Judge, the closing documents were not attached to the agenda.
That's correct.
So if you're going to make it an official record, I think it needs to be attached to.
They'll be sent to Monica, and she'll put them as part of the official record.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 7E is, I'm asking approval of commercial service application and new water meter application with the City of Weslaco Public Utility to initiate utility service at Precinct 1 Constable Building that's located at 1902 Joe Stevens in Weslaco.
Move for approval. Second. Judge, sufficient funding is not available for this.
I will. That is correct, but I will make sure that there is funding in place for this action. And Judge Commissioners, just for the record, I'm also asking authority to execute all the pertinent documents.
Judge Commissioners, for the record, we have submitted an emergency transfer for the permit fees.
Thank you.
All right, so it'll be subject to funding nonetheless.
Subject to funding.
All right, those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item F, I'm asking approval of an application with credit with Airgas Inc., and this is needed in order to purchase welding gases and materials from that vendor. I'm also asking authority to sign all the pertinent documents, and for the record, I will make sure that legal does review and sign off on the credit application, or the credit.
Move for approval.
Second.
Subject to legal?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Item 8, if I may, for the constable, he is out of town right now, or it's my understanding he couldn't be with us this morning. Constable Precinct 2, this is out of Fund 1284. He's asking approval of appropriation of the fiscal year 2012 Operation Stone Garden funds, and this is in the total amount of $3,147.34.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, for Constable Precinct 3, he's asking approval to reimburse his Chief Deputy Rene Gonzalez. This is for the purchase of his bond to begin employment with Hidalgo County at the Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 3's department. That dollar amount is $50.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, item 9, if I may, for the district courts. They're asking approval to process the following Merab Alexandra Rodriguez DBA Building Bridges Language Interpreter invoice services. They're asking for this to be processed as a claim, again with authority for County Treasurer to issue payment and check after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by our county auditors. Just for the record, Judge Commissioners, the invoice dates are June 14th, the 21st of June, June 28th, July 5th, and July 12th, respectively, of this year.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Item 10, 10A.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Under 10A, I'm asking for a no action. Under 1 and 2. And I'll go to 10B, under the BCAP program for Precinct 1. Let's see, approval to authorize supplemental pay to one accounts payable clerk, slot number 0004 Parks, in the amount of $3,500 from the BCAP program, slot number A005, and pay allowance to employee number 121754, effective next full pay period. Approval of the interdepartmental transfer and approval of the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval. 10B.
I don't believe this is compliant with the policy, is it?
No, it's not from the general fund, this comes from the Border Colonia Fund.
The BCAP program.
But I thought the policy applies across the board, not anymore?
No, it was just against the general fund.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
1, 2, and 3?
1, 2, and 3.
And under the road maintenance, approval of the following personnel actions: to delete slot 055, data entry clerk at $24,708, to delete slot 105, vector specialist at $33,013, and then to create slot 141, system support analyst at $33,013, and to create slot 142, maintenance 2 at $24,708.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And I'm asking for the approval of the revised salary schedule.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Esther,
ma'am.
were you supposed to bring the policy back for clarification? Because there was a question about whether it applies only to general fund. And I think the policy was going to be clarified.
I believe the budget office, Sergio?
Yeah, I remember they were supposed to bring it back.
He was supposed to bring it back, but I was advised yesterday that there was no changes.
It is not clear that it applies only to general fund. and
Okay, I'll meet with the
what takes
budget
action-
officer and see what we can do to present it.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 12, our sheriff's office.
Ozuna.
Judge, Commissioners, Richard Ozuna, Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County, on behalf of our Sheriff, Guadalupe Trevino.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Item 12A is approval to process the following AutoZone and O'Reilly Auto Parts invoices and claims with the authority for the county treasurer to issue a check after auditing procedures are completed by the auditor, and it goes into the O'Reilly Auto Part invoices listed below. If you'd like, I'll go through them, as well as the AutoZone.
Move for approval.
Second.
Judge, some of these items, we're not able to verify that the amount that you're approving are per contract.
Currently, on the AutoZone, through their awarded contract, they can add these items, and so we don't have a stop usage on our police vehicles when we're trying to get these parts. They can be placed on there.
Yeah, because a lot of
which is no
times your car
problem.
needs a part and you can't find it anywhere, then they can get it for you.
Correct.
Yes, sir, and the TCPN contract, and I did send it over to Ms. Liz yesterday, there is a provision that items can be added that are not on there.
Yeah, but,
The one we're trying to find the provision for and directly is through TASB. Now, the reason this occurs is because the Sheriff's Department requests blanket purchase orders so that they can order. However, what's happening, and we're advising the
Right.
Sheriff's Department.
Okay, we have a motion and a
So you do
second.
have signatures from the employees and everything on everything, right? On the
Oh,
Yes,
Oh, yes.
absolutely.
Yes, we
Just,
do.
but, just for the record, we need to verify these prices in order to process payment. So we have some difficulty, but Marty, I guess is going to help us do that, Marty?
We sent out an email for clarification from TASB.
Yeah, 'cause
We're
they're
hoping
all-
that it'll have the same provision as TCPN's contract, and we'll be able to add these items.
All right,
If
those in
not-
favor of the motion is made and seconded indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, approval to process the following Gregorio Pena PHE invoices for psychological evaluation for new hires as claims with the authority for our county treasurer to issue a check after auditing procedures are completed by the county auditors listed below for $1,100.
Move for approval.
Judge,
Yes.
on that particular item, the county has already exceeded over $50,000 in purchases for this particular item. And I think the county is required to go through a competitive bidding process unless they can exempt.
Yes.
But at this point, there has not been an exemption in place.
Correct.
Are we requiring these evaluations of every new employee? Or-
There's the Texas Administrative Code, which requires that the sheriff do this for all new hires. Now, in the meantime, we are asking the physician they went to, not the physician, the psychologist that they want to, Dr. Pina, that they want to exempt for certain items we need. One of the things we're still waiting on him for is his insurances. He's not provided that. The scope of work, that's got to be provided by the sheriff's office. And so we are prepared to place an item on next week's agenda for the exemption. However, we need those missing components in order to proceed with a contract.
But you're proposing that we approve this item B.
Certainly, I mean, the
We owe
sheriff
it.
is forced by the administrative.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is pursuant to Hidalgo County Cellular Telephone Policy, Sprint Contract DIR SDD 1780, presentation for consideration, acceptance, and approval of cellular phone request, data access request. Under number 1 is approval for requisition 240906 for 18 Tri-Fi modems at no charge and 18 Sierra Tri-Fi modems, unlimited data access at $37.99 per device.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D is approval to process the following AT&T invoices claims with authority for the county treasurer to issue a check after auditing procedures are completed by the county auditor as of the account number in 003-3 at $251.03.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 13.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 13A, Public Health Preparedness Division, requesting approval to apply for the PHEP discretionary funds in amount of up to $100,000 offered by the Texas Department of State Health Services. This grant award requires a 10% local match. We've been working with Budget Office on that and trying to get that in place. What we're looking at is to obtain funding to do next year's hurricane conference and also to acquire some RFID banding to be able to deal with large event situations that we can identify personnel and staff that are involved with the training and or event that's taking place.
Move for approval.
10% is not an issue. The 10% match is not an issue. The budget can be identified.
Yes. We got in contact with Budget Office and they're working with us on that on the 10% part. It's $10,000.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Under B, 13B, Health Funding District, there's no reports on that unless there's questions. On 13C, Indigent Health Care Program, discussion and action including but not limited to Indigent Health Care Program, but M15 waiver and expenditure. So the only thing is, there may be some communication sent to each of you by the hospital group in regards to some of the direction you're looking at in your budgetary planning for this coming year, just to notify you of that may be forthcoming to you all.
All right, sir.
Questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 14, there's no action. Item 15, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item,
morning, sir.
First item, Urban County Programs requesting the award of bids and approval of contract for the demolition and reconstruction of the following. Item 1 unit in the city of San Juan in the amount of $44,250 to A1 insulation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, under 15A, the certificate holder on the certificate of insurance for 15A, number 3, it's to be listed as Hidalgo County.
Yes, sir, Judge, that has been modified and submitted to your office already. In fact, I have a copy here with me.
No,
That has been submitted.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item 2 is the unit in City of San Juan and 2 units in City of Mercedes in the amount of $126,890 to 3 General Construction Incorporated.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is the Urban County Program. Is on behalf of Hidalgo County Precinct Number 1, is requesting approval and award of best and final negotiated contract with Hurricane Consultants, Inc. in the amount of $9,094, utilizing CDBG year 2010 for the Precinct Number 1 street improvements, Science Avenue.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The Urban County Program is requesting the county's approval and payment of an invoice in the amount of $1,350 from Kirwan, Thomas, and Gonzalez PLLC, attorneys at law, for a fee for legal services in connection with a revolving line of credit with Lone Star National Bank.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Item 16. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm here with my staff. They'll come, because this is our Breastfeeding Awareness Month, that August is our, we do this every year. And I just wanted to present my staff. This is Diana Cardona. She's our breastfeeding coordinator. And this is Margarita Miller. She's our peer counselor manager. This is Blanca Colunga. She's our peer counselor that helps us at Baby Cafe. And this is Sandra Escamilla. She's our lactation consultant that helps us at the Doctors of Renaissance at Women's Hospital.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm going to read the proclamation. This is proclaiming August 2013 as World Breastfeeding Awareness Month in the County of Hidalgo and the State of Texas. Whereas the mission of the Texas Department of State Health Services is to improve health and well-being in Texas, and whereas breast milk is the preferred and most appropriate source of nutrition for infants, changing over time to meet the needs of the growing infant, and whereas breastfeeding protects the mother and the infant from a host of chronic and acute diseases and continues leading to lifelong health benefits. And whereas the Surgeon General's call to action to support breastfeeding calls on all communities to support mothers in reaching their personal breastfeeding goals, and whereas breastfeeding moms rely on fingertip resources in the online community which may determine whether or not a mother begins and continues breastfeeding, and whereas Texas WIC is committed to increasing support in the digital community for women and their families and friends by providing portable resources such as the website for breastmilkcounts.com and lechematernacuenta.com and the Breast Milk Counts app for Android and iPhone markets. And whereas it is our community's responsibility to support breastfeeding moms and their efforts to provide the optimal source of nutrition and comfort for their babies. Therefore, Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim August 2013 Breastfeeding Awareness Month and urge the appropriate recognition whereof. Help your local community support breastfeeding moms by connecting and sharing, collaborating, and partnering with breastfeeding supporters. And passed and approved by this August the 13th through Commissioners Court.
Second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
I just want to let you all inform you of some of the activities that we have partaken in. We have collaborated with the City of Edinburgh to have them be the third municipality to become designated as mother-friendly work site. So we're real proud of that achievement that we worked toward. And then we also have, we participated in like going to different businesses, and we asked them if they would like to become a breastfeeding friendly establishments, and we have 187 breastfeeding friendly establishments. They're listed on the county website for any citizen that wants to have more information concerning that. We also attended a breastfeeding conference, which was very beneficial to the community. And we also participated on the Big Latch-On, which was August the 6th? No, the 3rd. It was August the 3rd, Saturday at San Juan Community Center, and we had a great turnout. We had 50 moms come, and you know, different cities across the nation participate in this, and then the number of women that participated are counted up, and we were hoping to to get the most breastfeeding women to...
At the same time. At the same time.
At breastfeeding at the same time, for 1 minute. And to exceed the World Guinness record. So we'll have the results.
We did increase we doubled the amount. Last year was 8,800 and some moms and babies breastfeeding at the same time. And this year, the final count was above 14,000 worldwide. So we're very proud because we participate on that event.
So we're doing a lot of strides out in the community trying to promote breastfeeding as a norm, you know, like something that is good for moms and babies.
And for the community.
And for the community. It's for our future. So we'd like to take a picture with you all.
Thank you. This way. Acá, ¿cómo se llama?
No, not you. I was playing the point. Okay. Perfect. One, two, and one. Okay.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
And how are you?
All right, we're going to take up one more item before we take a short recess. Under our Planning Department, 17A.
Ready for it?
Good morning.
All right, good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just two quick items. Appointment or reappointment of member of the Hidalgo County Subdivision Advisory Board. We have two positions that need to be appointed, the judge's appointee and precinct 1 appointee. Judge, do you have?
Yes, I wanted to appoint Mr. Ken Desjarnais. He's a engineer, contractor, developer, business person here in our county, and that's the gentleman that I would like to recommend be appointed.
Great. Excellent selection.
Lonnie Berry from Berry Homes, builder and developer.
Okay, excellent. We'll go ahead and make note of that for the record, and we'll send out the letter and package to them. They'll be attending the next advisory board, which is next week, so it's perfect timing to get them on board. Great.
Thank you.
So I guess motion.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Great. And the next item is discussion possible action to waive $30 utility certificate fee for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for federal government property.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to take a recess, a short recess. Well, actually, it'll be a little long. We have committed to a workshop on the construction of a new courthouse here in our county. We have a joint meeting with the city of Edinburgh beginning at 11 o'clock. And they would like for us to recess at this time so that they can set up the sitting arrangements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Rick?
Okay.
Doing real good. How's everything going?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In lieu of the mayor not being here at the moment, I think he's on his way. We're going to go ahead and start our joint meeting between the Edinburgh City Council and the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, scheduled for today, August 13th, 2013. We have a joint work session to start at 11 o'clock. By my watch, we're about 11:19. So I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order on behalf of the City Council, and we can, by visual, I see that we have a quorum right now pending. The mayor's showing up today. And certification of public notice, or Myra's sitting out in the audience. I assume that she took care of business because she always does. Thank you, Myra. I don't know if you want to, Judge, if you want to call your meeting to order before we go into the...
We've been in the meeting, we took a recess, but for the record, the entire county commissioners court is present. Yes.
Not here.
Yes.
So we have a quorum and we're ready to proceed, Commissioner.
Our discussion would be regarding the Hidalgo County new courthouse project, and I don't know who's going to take over the lead here for the discussion.
I think we're going to be getting a presentation to be made by ERO Architects on the status of the schematic design of the courthouse. I think one of our engineer, Mr. Manuel Hinojosa, and Brian Godinez are going to be representing ERO.
Thank you, Judge, Council, Commissioners. Brian Godinez with ERO Architects. Manuel Hinojosa with ERO Architects. We're going to do a very quick overview on the schematic design phase. As you know, schematic design was recently approved by the Commissioners Court, and ERO Architects was contracted. The contract is still being finalized with the firm, but what I have in front of you is a brief presentation that gives you a quick overview in terms of the schematic design and what exactly is going to occur during that phase. On the slide 2, what was accomplished to date, as you know or may be aware, the last time we had met during the master planning phase, a condition assessment of all the systems of the courthouse was conducted, as well as ADA assessment and baseline conditions drawings were done and submitted to the county. This was a little over 2 years ago on the current state of the condition of the facility. After that, a master plan was approved by the Commissioners Court in partnership or in conjunction with or association with the City of Edinburgh. Master plan was completed and submitted and adopted by the Commissioners Court. We did a macro programming of space, trying to determine exactly how much space is required for the today's needs of the court system as well as future needs. Master plan of the development of the site with mass modeling and was adopted in terms of what the building, its orientation in reference to the existing courthouse today at the same property location downtown in Edinburgh. It was adopted with a group of stakeholders and the Commissioners Court, along with input from the City of Edinburgh, that this would be a vertical high-rise structure not to exceed 11 stories to handle 24 courts up to 9 floors with an additional 2 floors for future growth over the next 50 years. There was a lot of community engagement involved. We went to all 4 precincts and got input from each of the precinct's constituents in terms of what that site plan and building model might look like. The historical preservation plan was also submitted. That was done as a requirement so that in the event that the county would like to solicit funds from the Texas Historical Commission, which we know now that the existing courthouse does qualify as a historical facility, it meets the requirements. There are from time to time grants available, and for the opportunity for grant monies for construction, remodeling, or updating of the courthouse, the existing courthouse, a historical preservation plan is required, and that was submitted, and each of you got copies of that. On slide number 3, the architectural process is in front of you. It's from beginning to end over a period of 36 months. You'll see, beginning with the first phase, which is the phase that we're in now, the schematic design phase, over a period of 5 months. It's 50% of the total architectural engineering design process. After that, you can see the timeline from 6 months after that with design development, then construction documents, bidding negotiation, and then the construction administration through the construction process up until the the building closeout of the, which we think is projecting somewhere in that 3-year range once architectural design begins. That's at page 3. On page 4 in front of you is the schematic design services. It lists exactly the basic services that were currently negotiated with the county on the contract: architectural design, structural engineering design, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and plumbing engineering, MEP sometimes referred to. We've also have solicited the services and support of a judicial consultant, a expert in the field of courthouse design and construction, with a group out of the state of Texas. They have a good history of courthouses, and they're the ones that we are currently discussing, teaming with us, and they're the ones that did the Hays County. I know a couple of you went to see the Hays County Courthouse and were impressed and liked what you saw there. I believe one of those principals actually gave you a tour. I know Commissioner Palacios, you were there for a tour of that. Now, beginning on slide 5, and for the rest of the slides, Manuel's going to come up here and just walk you through exactly what are you getting for schematic design and why is it important, what the benefits will be once you go through this phase and complete this phase.
Brian was mentioning, the schematic phase is only 15% of the whole total process. And we have 15 bullet points here to bring out some of the parts of it that are important. And you know, it's actually the most important part, because this shapes your design. It shapes the vision that you have. And if we go through them one at a time, obviously it defines the plans and the functional relationships of the spaces. It's important that we understand, what we're designing, where they're placed, how they relate to each other. And one of the most important parts too is what it's going to look like. What are the architectural features here? What styles that we plan to incorporate into the design? Especially since, in the past, the courthouses have had a style that we recognize. And the site, what site, what part of the site we want to use, how we're going to use it. All of these things have to be really considered in the beginning. We need to establish the system as far as the MEP, what are we going to use and what kind of systems are available, what's in practice for a building of this size, what's the most appropriate, and also where you're going to locate it on the site and how we're going to incorporate this into a building of this stature. The functional plan and with the judicial courts and supporting offices, the administration, all of these things have to relate to each other, how we're going to include them in the building. And so the discussions that need to take place are going to be with the people that are going to be using them. So we can come back in and set up the required design that you ask us to do. The security is such a big issue these days that we need to know exactly how you want to go about this. Where's the location? Where's the brains for this facility, and how we're going to be able to monitor all the aspects of the building itself? And with this comes the public areas. What areas are public? Where do you want people to be walk around? Where do you want people not to go to? And the private areas that are off limits. With this, we define all the public circulation, make sure that we can get people in and out and go where they're supposed to, be able to read the building and know exactly what the functions is of the rooms, along with directional, signage that goes with the building's nature. And also the same circulation goes with the outside. On the site itself, where are your accesses, where do you want to be safe with the pedestrians, where do you want the vehicles to be established, how far do you want to walk to the building. All these things are part of the initial design that we're going to sit down and really develop. The structural and foundation systems. At this point, we'll get the geotech information and start establishing what works here, what's economical, what works for this type of building. The engineers will have to be consulted, and we'll come up with some kind of a concept for the best structure that goes to the building. And this, of course, would establish the height and the number of floors that we'll use, and the height
for each floor, so we'll get a better feeling of the massing. The massing is going to be supporting the site. Where do you put it on the site? How do you relate to it? And how do you get to it? So all these things are still part of the process. And then at the same time, how we're going to address all the future growth. You know, where we're going to put anything that's going to happen 10 years from now, 20 or even more, and how we want to come back and make that available at that time, and what is the use for it. So we got to be thinking ahead as we go along. With that, you've got what kind of construction materials you want to use. Is it going to be masonry? Is it going to be a metal? Or is it going to be a nice type of stucco finish? Whatever the material is, we've got to consider how we're going to go about putting the envelope to the building. And then once we get to a point that we feel as though we've got something to work with, and we need to start figuring out what the cost is. We start establishing the ranges that we need to work towards in order to develop this project. And with all of this, we continue promoting the project and make sure it goes forward. And what that means is that in the deliverables, we will be providing you with a site plan, of course, floor plans, the elevations, and all the elevations need to be shown in order for you to be able to recognize what you're getting as we develop this, and the outline specifications, what it's going to take to do this. We have models.
Can we ask questions, Manuel?
You're welcome. Yes, Judge.
I thought it was going to be 10-story, and I just heard Brian say 11-story.
It's as story as you want it, Judge.
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same building.
I think it was up to 11. We have permission up to 11?
Well, no, we don't really have permission up to 11. Matt, can you get over here and explain the program requirements has a building at over close to 400,000 square feet, if not a little bit over. And it'll be up to the court and the stakeholders to decide the question of what do we do with the clerks. Do the clerks stay at the existing building, or if you bring the clerks over to the new building, that takes a full 9-floor, in terms of its current configuration, up to 9 floors, with the possibility of 2 shelled floors above that, which goes to 11 for future growth for additional courts. But it will be a question, the clerks will be the issue that we'll have to discuss during this process.
All right, sir. The other one I had was, your company has been awarded a contract for the schematic design phase?
Yes, sir.
How long will it take to complete?
5 months.
And the cost, I'll make sure the public is aware, we've negotiated a contract with your company, and if we can publicly announce what that amount is.
I believe it's $834,000.
And what is the county and the city getting for that amount?
Well, there are several deliverables that Manuel, it's $836,550. In terms of the actual deliverables, site plan, floor plans, elevations, outline specifications, illustrative models, video renderings, 2-dimensional renderings, and the equipment list that will be needed by the county for the building.
This is not what the documents you give to the contractor then?
No, there's still 2 more phases before you get to that. Those are construction documents. That's the 3rd phase that identified. If you look at slide number 3, it looks at the different phases and the timelines of each of them, and the percentage of time required, or the percentage of fee and or capacity or requirement during those phases. 15% schematic design, 15% design development, which is the final phase. Once you take schematic design, then you bring all the elements in and enhance, modify, upgrade, and get the design ready for construction document development, which is the longest portion of architectural engineering design, is the production of construction documents, which the contractor then uses for building the building.
Brian.
Yes, sir.
I have a question here, and just to be clarified, the $834,000, that's just for the
schematic design.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was based on what's referred to as the CCL, or the construction limit, not the total production cost, but the actual brick and mortar cost, which was defined by purchasing and several involved in the process at putting a price tag of $92 million on the building. And so a percentage of that that's where the percentages came up, the 15%. There was I can't remember. Marty, the percentage, the actual final architectural fee, was that at 6%? Yeah. Yeah, you took 6% of the total $92 million and determined that was the full range of architectural fees from schematic all the way through final delivery of the building, which is that phases right there, they're on page 3. Right. So, and then we took about 15% of that 6% to determine schematic design cost.
Judge, Brian, I don't know if it's appropriate to ask this question at this point. No, first of all, I'd like to thank the City of Edinburgh for wanting this joint meeting on the courthouse. I'm looking at your timetable and referring to page 3.
Yes, sir.
To the 36 months. And obviously, the bigger question is, we're looking at $96 million. Obviously, it's contingent on a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces to it. Obviously, the City of Edinburgh is coming in with a commitment of which there's been a lot of rhetoric thrown out, but we don't know the exact number at this point in time, so that's crucial to a lot of this. I was hoping that we can accomplish knowing what the city's willing to contribute. The other part has to do with our financial advisor, what are our cap space and budget, at what point. You're looking at a 36 window. Will the county be prepared to fund a $96 million project jointly with the City of Edinburgh within 36 months? What I'm afraid of is that we go 36 months and we got construction documents that we're not able to let anything just because of the financial component to it. And so that's what I'm hoping to accomplish as well, is understand the financial portion of funding this project.
Can I tweak that timeline just a bit, because I was in error earlier? The construction time is 36 months. The design time is 2 years. So it's
less time.
It's actually it's 2 years before construction would actually begin.
And there had been talk about P3 financing. I think that's really the nuts and bolts to us taking it to the next level. We've engaged in a contract with y'all to do preliminary design, and we want to make sure that within that less than 2 year period, we address the financial implications of what we're about to do and what we're committed to do.
That's one of the benefits of the schematic design phase, and it's quite similar to what Travis County is doing right now with their new courthouse plans. They also are going into schematic design phase. For one of the benefits is the fact that the dialogue can continue in determining how to pay for it. Schematic design process will allow that kind of dialogue.
And I'm all in favor. We're notorious for preparation, and we got to get through the next few steps before we get to the construction dollars, and I'm all for it. I'm all for the project, but I want to hope, there's been a lot of ambiguity in regards to the financing and what we're able to afford, and then what Edinburgh's willing to contribute. We're hoping that those pieces come more in line to understand what we're getting ourselves into.
Commissioner Palacios, that's the reason why we had this meeting. I know the mayor's not here, but I know that we've all been in discussions with the mayor, and part of these fees, the $800,000, the City of Edinburgh is on the hook for $200-something thousand that we're gonna help out with. And
how much?
I think $200-something thousand. That's what was presented to us. Okay. But our whole purpose of the meeting was because the mayor wants to know. He wants to contribute. We had plans to say that at one time, like you said, there was talks that the city was going to help out with $20 million, $10 million, but we need time to figure out, like you said, how we're going to come up with that debt service for you guys. You know, because at one time the price tag was $60 million. Now it's 90. This is the first time I ever heard the $96 million price tag. And we have the time frame here of 3 years, 4 years. You know, we're in the last month of our budget process, and it's really essential to us that we know, you know, how we're going to fund it, how we're going to fund whatever our contribution is, whether it's 20 million or 10 million, and then that difference, how you guys are going to do it. So if there's something we can do together, like the P3, or there's other resources out there that the city and the county together can jump on, and we have that debt service amount already for us, so we can start budgeting that, because
our district attorney on the issue of the funding.
Okay.
I know that one of the main reasons we're meeting here this morning is because the city would like to see us get involved in a P3 type of construction and our funding. But our DA has sent us an opinion saying that it would not be proper for us, wouldn't be legal for us to get involved as a county. And with that opinion being out there, I don't really believe that we could consider a P3.
Okay.
And I think we'll just have to look for any opportunity, anything that we can do to subsidize some of the costs that the county is going to incur in that process. Certainly we know that the county courthouse is a jewel our city, and we certainly want to be good stewards of that jewel. So we want to work as closely with the county as possible in making this project come to fruition. Again, the idea I was looking at, this is probably 24 months before we get a firm bid on the true cost of the courthouse. And I mean, again, like Mr. Bencourt is saying, we want to be totally prepared, finding every possible way to give and to participate as much as possible in this project with what limited resources we have to participate with. But we certainly want to be a strong partner in this construction job.
Judge, I don't know if it'd be proper, I see our financial advisor in the audience, and I see Sergio's at the podium, to obviously at least talk a little bit about the finances.
Well, I just want to clarify a couple of things. On the 92 million, that number, we're talking about, that's the building construction cost. However, we do have other soft costs, architectural, engineering, FF&E. It's 113 million is the total construction project cost for this courthouse. It's 113. So as well, I mean, I would like to know from the city's perspective what they intend to contribute, and maybe we need to break this down between all the different parts of the project to see what portion of it they're contributing into, how much, because we would need to then use some of those contributions, put it into our financial model and see how much debt service we would have to then levy. Probably, roughly, if we take the same timeline that we have here, be sometime in September of 2015. So really, we only have 2 years, although, I mean, and it's a short time around. It is significant dollars that we would be looking at having to do an issuance for. So that's something that right now we're going through our budget process. We have our own maintenance and operation deficit that we're trying to overcome. So this would be an additional funding. If still the court's desire to not impact the tax rate, then we have a lot more cutting that we would have to do as far as on trying to get this project off the ground by 2015. Just want everybody to support that.
You know that. There's no way we can cut, so I think he needs to be in the podium, let us know what we really, what we need, our financial advisor, because I mean, if we try cutting back in our person of our sheriff's department or everything, it's not going to work. I mean, he needs to give us every penny will generate about $2.5 million, más o menos. Give us more or less an idea how much it'll cost us if we build a $100,000 courthouse. How much would it cost on our tax?
Are you talking about 100 million?
Yes.
Yeah, 100? On 100
Más o
million?
menos, I mean, it's very simple. I mean,
yeah, on 100 million, I believe it would be about $6.6 million debt service payment that we would have.
So you would have to raise our taxes by how much?
Roughly 2.6 pennies.
So roughly about 3 cents per, 3 cents.
Roughly about 3 cents, yes, sir.
If we have to build it ourselves.
If we had to build it ourselves, given today's budget, we would probably have to raise the tax rate by about 3 cents.
That's for the whole
For the whole
113 million?
For 100 million.
For 100 million?
Yes.
Yeah. Ramiro, if I could,
Ramiro,
maybe we can get something from the city because.
Okay, we don't want to raise taxes, so. What I wanted to mention.
We have something in common.
Well, I appreciate that, Judge. I just wanted to mention a point of clarification. I think when we mention public-private partnerships, Judge, I don't think the council is referring to having a private sector build it and lease it back. I think that initially I wanted to clear that up. I don't think that's, at this point, what's being looked at, obviously, like you mentioned, that's not something that perhaps could be considered. But I think what the council is looking to do is partner with you to find other financing mechanisms. It was just mentioned how much money would need to be raised to issue the debt. Certainly, I think if we look back and find a way for us to contribute, it would reduce that. But before we do that, we want to explore all financing options possible. Many communities around the country are in the same boat that we are. Many of them have built courthouses, they've built revitalized downtowns, they've done that in many ways. One way is to designate the area as a tax increment reinvestment zone area. And all it does is it's a way for us to raise revenue from other private activity taking place. You see the McIntyre improvements being made here. Right after that infrastructure is done, you're going to have student housing, you can have apartments, you can have a lot of private activity coming to this area, as well as adjacent to this area. We want to be able to capture that increase and apply towards perhaps not just the courthouse, but also the redevelopment of the square. Because we're looking at this as not just the courthouse, but also the revitalization of the area around it. So I think we're very interested to work with, you know, the county budget office and everyone to develop that framework, because look, I don't think anybody wants to raise taxes. We're not proposing to do that. We wouldn't do that in a way that we exhaust all our financing options. The tax income reinvestment zone is one. There's many other options, but we just ask that as we look to partner with y'all on the architecture fees, that y'all consider some of these options for us to be able to finance it. So,
in looking at that, I heard, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but that these zones, they don't have to be contiguous to the location of the building.
That is correct. Okay. Yeah, I think the county has about 15 tax increment zones right now.
But if the city of Edinburgh were to get involved and the county would get involved with the city together to create one somewhere around here.
Yes, sir.
Then that doesn't have to be next to the courthouse.
That's correct. Yes, sir. The state law changed, I think, in 2011, where you can actually go and select different areas to bring into the zone. And you actually can do that throughout the county if you like, so.
I think one of the first things we may need to do is get a good feel for the cost. I mean, it's gone from 60 to 75 to 85 to 92 to 100 and 113 this morning. But to get that to that point, don't we need the plans?
Right, I agree. Yeah.
Judge, I don't dispute the process that we're following. I'm not even disputing the timetable. I'm just saying concurrently we have to look at the financing, the mechanisms, and I know give direction to our budget staff, our financial advisor, and figure out what we're dealing with realistically, so that we can we're able to bridge the gap.
Go ahead.
Yes.
My name is Chris Vela with First Southwest Company, financial advisors to the county. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to address the Joint Commission workshop. I'd like to perhaps start out by putting our plan in perspective as to where we're at today. And one of the things that I want to leave with you as an impression is the volatility of the interest rate market that we're in, or the environment that we're in today. And that's very important. We're nowhere close to the rates that we have experienced not too long ago that we sold paper. Matter of fact, we've had considerable erosion in interest rates since May of this year as a result of the quantitative easing scenario that has taken place at the national level, comments that were made by Federal Open Market Member Committee members, et cetera. So I think that the plan and the direction and some of the comments that have been incorporated from the various members here are all good comments, and they all should be incorporated into the overall plan. Obviously, cost is very important. We cannot start without cost. The timing in terms of the design, the construction, et cetera. And also being able to update our models that we had previously provided to your staff, and provide those models to you with some updated numbers and maybe perhaps ranges of impacts as you go forward, just, you know, for planning purposes. What if we do this and what if we do that? Kind of like the process that we went on the other, through the other issuance. So I want to keep in mind with you that we don't really know what the interest rate environment is going to do, but we need to keep that very, very prominent in the front of our minds as to, you know, on a going forward basis, because we have eroded quite a bit in terms of interest rates.
Commissioner, council members, also I'd like to just to mention on the schematic design, we're going through the schematic design phase at this time. One of the things that we do expect to get from this is once we complete the schematic design phase, we will have that construction cost number where we could have a general contractor give us a guaranteed maximum price for the building. So we would be in a lot better position to know exactly how much that cost is going to be and be able to do a lot more better planning.
Okay. We've already invested, what, about 400,000 to date?
It's actually closer to about, yes, regarding the...
Yeah, that's one of our primary concerns with the city council is that we don't want to keep on investing more and more money, and at the end of the day, let's say at the end of the 3-year process, we invested so much money, and we have beautiful plans, but we have beautiful architectural designs, but no plans on how to. There's nothing set to see how we're going to pay for this. And at the end of the 36 months, I don't want to be stuck with some plans that we can't use because we can't afford to build this new county courthouse.
I agree with Commissioner Hassel. I think we should have marching orders and direction. I believe we're on the right track, but we have to have some direction. We've talked about it, said, the judge and I have met on building a fund, finding where we're going to fill the gap of the funding demand that we're going to have. At some point, we have to give the city of Edinburgh some direction on what their involvement may or may not be. We need to be able to get to that point, and whatever it takes us to get to that point sooner, being the fact that we already have an executed contract, we need to get there much sooner than later, because it's going to take two different governments working within their respective budgets to somehow fund the demand that we're going to be facing. And I think we need answers to that.
Yeah, and I believe that since we have gone forth with the schematic design, I think if we can have meetings with the City of Edinburgh staff and ourselves, we have had meetings prior to this regarding the courthouse master plan when we undertook that project. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to have some type of financial plan for you by the time we have schematic designs delivered, to be able to present to the court and to the council members, this is what, in our respective entities, this is what we need to do to be able to be in a financial position to be able to go out for that issuance come 2015, and go out for the debt service and have that capacity in place. And I believe that we should be able to have something by the end of the fiscal year, which is, I believe, January is by, I think, the deliverable date for the schematic design to be delivered to the county and to the council.
You know, one of the things that we need to consider is that we're dealing with a very substantial sum of money. We're talking in ambiguous terms. It may sound to the public like we may not really know what we're getting into, but we want to make sure that the public is aware that the reason it's taking us this long and the reason for these discussions is that we want to be able to build this very substantial building without increasing the tax rate. I mean, the easy way is just, to figure it out just like Commissioner Flores did. 2.6 cents, make it 3, let's increase the taxes and build a building. But we don't want to do that.
Well, another option, Judge, would be to reduce taxes by 3 pennies. And then you have the money to pay for the courthouse.
Well, that's going to take us a couple of budget cycles to get to there. And I don't know if it'd behoove us to see if, Mr. Vela, are you able to identify several different funding mechanisms that the court and the city can consider as potentially funding them? I don't think that we've done our due diligence on researching all available vehicles. Can we start there? That gets us a little closer. And I know our governments are going to do what we need to do to figure out what we can do budget-wise. We've talked, from the county standpoint, we've talked about privatizing solid waste. We've talked about assets. The sale of assets, that we're no longer putting some properties back on the tax roll. We've talked about a lot of initiatives that would actually fill the gap, but we haven't moved forward on those things. And I think it's important to understand yes, sir.
We've had ongoing discussions with your staff along these lines. It's probably in a better position to discuss those issues with you.
Yeah, Commissioner, and basically, yes, we do need to basically now just move forward with some of these items that we've identified as potential expenditure reducing strategies or revenue enhancing strategies, looking at different permits and licensing fees that we charge, increasing some of those rates if applicable. And I think we just need to go ahead and start executing those plans.
Yeah, and then on our macro approach, just look at TERS, potential TERS and all other different types of vehicles to be able to create more funds to be able to fund this.
Is there a way, Brian, before?
Yes, sir.
To ask a question is, I mean, again, we're talking generalities here, but is there a way to determine whether this is going to be a feasible project to begin with right now? I mean, part of the things that Commissioner Palacios is saying is that we don't want to do all this work and then come up at the end of the road and not have the financing. Is there a way to determine, I mean, regardless of, you know, the judge said we don't want to increase taxes just to do it the easy way, but certainly is there a way to fund it one way or another after this 2-year period of going through the process of the schematics?
And I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And the other question is, from a design standpoint, I know the ultimate design is the 100+ million, but is there a design approach where we can phase in the development? We may not have to fund the entire project, but we're able to phase the development? I mean, we got to look at everything. We might not be able to get the 100 million.
Let me answer your question first, and then I'll come back to you, Mr. Longoria, into what you brought up. But that's exactly the purpose of design development. The DD phase, the second phase after schematic design, is to be able to fine-tune, tweak, and adjust, and downgrade if necessary, before you actually start production of construction documents. That phase is designed just for that, is to be able to do that. Back to what you said, I don't know if this gives you any sense of comfort, but during the master planning process, we did a lot of research. We looked at Hays County. We've been following the Travis County process for their $340 million proposed courthouse complex in Austin. And Hidalgo County is pretty much on the same track of what they went through until they finally pulled the trigger. And it's about a 3, 4, 5-year process. That's how long Travis County's been spending. And they're just now about to solicit for architects for schematic design. They've been debating public-private partnership, design build, bond for 4 years now. They finally made a decision just 3 weeks ago on which delivery mechanism they want to go down. Most likely it's a bond referendum, and most likely it's going to be design build. They thought that public-private partnership was too complex to take out into the public community, so they decided, after spending well over 2 years and well over $1 million to determine if P3 was the right route, they decided not to go that route. Hays County went through a long process trying to determine how to pay for their courthouse. They finally went design build, and in the middle of their process, they changed architects and contractors and brought in another team and brought the cost down by $25 million. So Hidalgo County is going through the same process, trying to determine which is the best delivery mechanism and which is the best way to pay for it. And as everybody's obviously been saying, schematic design is the phase to move into to start that kind of dialogue. I will assure you that during the master planning phase, we had 9 meetings with finance, including Chris was with us, as well as your county bond counsel, and we went through a lot of different scenarios in terms of how possibly this could be paid for. A lot of that research work was led by Sergio and Valde during that process. So there is some work already that's been done. I hope I answered your question.
So the short answer is there's always a possibility.
There's always a possibility.
There's always a way to get to that point, but you're not going to be able to do anything until we get through the schematic process.
That's correct, sir. And also, eventually need supersedes and eventually wins out in terms, and there's no question that the county courthouse exists today has to be replaced. There's so many code issues with that building. There's so many space issues with that building. Eventually supersedes, and you eventually finally figure out how to pay for it.
Well,
and it will happen.
That's why we're here. I mean, this is not a luxury item.
No, this is a very urgent need.
It was built 59 years ago. There were 3 courts.
Yes, sir.
2 district courts, 1 county court of law, and today we got about 23 to 25 different courts that need to be housed, and a judicial center is basic infrastructure for any county. What that master plan showed that we were over 300,000 square feet
in current need.
Yes, we need to have in addition to where we are.
If you ever want to open your eyes very wide, read the baseline conditions of the existing courthouse. You'll be very surprised what you read about the existing conditions of that building. It's not good.
Don't say it too loud, the fire marshal is here.
Excuse me. It's not good.
Brian.
Yes, sir.
On the master plan.
Yes, sir.
Is there actually for the $113 million, is there actually a parking including with that, parking?
Not a parking facility, but parking is included. And also secure access for the judicial participants and stakeholders. But there's not a parking structure included.
Okay.
We're counting on that, 2.5 lots, city lots that are located north of the building.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Someday that may be
And some people have to walk.
Parking structure may be something.
Part of our
later.
wellness plan, I guess.
That's a wellness plan, yeah, it'll be part of the wellness plan.
There you go.
I saw an initial design, Brian, and forgive me.
Yes, sir.
Mentioning stuff that we looked at in the past of a parking garage structure near the courthouse. So that's not in this plan.
That was early when we were looking at the possibility of tying the existing courthouse and remodeling the existing courthouse, and then having some kind of skyway, some kind of a structural link to the new courthouse, and then a parking garage right next door. But then the cost just got way too high.
No, and I was only mentioning that because we had initially talked about potentially metering those parking spaces to help fund for the improvement. So that's the only reason why I was asking.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't think there's a question if we're going to do a courthouse. I know we're going to do a courthouse. The question is, to what degree are we going to do the courthouse, and how?
How are we going to pay for it? That's the most important thing.
One of the issues that one of the issues that we're also going to address is, right now, the way we have the plans would be to move the clerks out of the existing building and build the additional floor, which is what the additional floor we were talking about as far as going from 10 to 11. Now the clerks would be at that new building. That would be the 113 total construction cost scenario. Now the issue would be, now what do we do with the old courthouse? Right now we've had several meetings with Mr. Garza and also with the EDC as far as maybe doing some type of P3 on the renovation of that old building. We're also working plans from our side as far as what county departments we can move into that building. However, it would then entail a new renovation of that building, and at that point we can do it at a slower pace, or do it in-house with our current construction crew, or again look at maybe some P3 options that we would be able to have with private developers as far as
obviously
that
that's
facility.
respect to the reversionary clause that we have on the existing courthouse, right? It has to serve some courthouse function.
It would, as far as on the historical commission, we would have to serve some type of courthouse function. So one of the things that we have looked at doing is taking Commissioner's Court and either holding Commissioner's Court there at the first floor, construction some facilities for the Commissioner's Court. Another thing would be to do some type of small museum in one of the original courts there in the first floor as well. Those are some of the things that we have to do. But yes, we would have to maintain some type of governmental purpose for that facility.
But to add to
judicial
that point,
purpose.
just so that there's clarity, the reversionary clause is not about the use of the facility. It's about the facilities on the land. And before the court adopted the master plan, we had a legal opinion and contacted the family to be sure that if a facility was put next to the building in the same square, would it meet the requirements of the reversionary clause, the land grant, or whatever you want to call that? And the opinion was yes, and the family signed off on that before you all adopted. What Sergio's talking about is the requirements of the Historical Commission.
Yeah, and another question. Obviously, if and when we do this, obviously we're looking at closing traffic on Klausner. Is that correct?
That's been approved by TxDOT.
Okay.
That
now,
can be done.
In that, I believe that the future courthouse will sit where actually the road is. And then there'll be some linkage, but it'll revert into an actual square at that point in time.
That's the plan. Now, that may be modified during schematic design when the final site plan is adopted by the court and the city. But yes, that's the plan.
All right, so we know there's a need for a schematic design plan. It's going to cost us $836,550. Is the city going to be involved in helping us pay for this?
Yeah,
that's what we're just on behalf of our council and the mayor, I'm sure that we would commit to helping pay for that. To what extent, we'll have to ask Ramiro to I mean, what we've done so far, we did 100,000 to the initial.
230 that you said a while ago?
Yeah, I think council had talked about contributing up to at least 200,000, but council could take action on that at the next meeting. I think that was committed in the past.
Is it 200 or a percentage of it or something like that?
that's up to the council for consideration. I think in the past, we had contributed.
I remember reading somewhere it was 220 something.
What's the total cost of the whole?
That's percentage or something.
Design phase all the way to the construction documents? What's the whole total?
At the current, at the construction cost of $92 million at 6% that was negotiated for schematic design, we're looking at a little over $6 million for architectural engineering services.
Okay.
We're still
But that's from
negotiating
beginning to
that.
end, Brian. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
we're talking about
I want to be clear that.
That's part of the 113?
Well, let me just go back to, that's,
part of the-
right now, the contract's only for schematic design. What happens beyond that is still up to the court to decide in terms of how architectural engineering services will be delivered and what those fees will be.
I'm saying it's
This is
both.
just based on the current CCL. I'm sorry, sir.
Brian, how much are you owed right now to get this through schematic design? I mean, how much is still left to be funded there?
Well, the contract hasn't been signed yet. It's still with purchasing and supposed to be completed today.
It's 800.
It's the total amount.
The whole 800,000?
$836,550.
Okay.
And how many cents?
I think 14.
14 cents. Okay.
Judge, I would ask a request if the court and maybe a couple council members could meet periodically with all of us as staff, I think, so we can continue the discussions and then report back to you, because I think it's a good idea to have the finance plan in place by the time the schematic is
I
completed.
think you need to
so.
look at all these different options.
Right.
And maybe Mr. Guerra will change his mind,
Yeah, I don't think.
you know, or maybe,
an election
at least we know that in the old building, we can use a P3. You might be able to find somebody that'll get involved in helping develop that.
Well, there's no doubt that if, with the new courthouse, there's going to be interest for folks to invest. I mean, there's probably going to be a hotel, there's going to be apartments, there's going to be things that, and if we set it up right from the beginning, we can use some of that revenue towards the construction of it. So, but we need to have it in place, and because once they start construction, we can't utilize it. So,
So you don't feel that there's a problem, and I know it's not, hasn't been approved through city council yet on the financial commitment for this phase.
I think we had talked about, the discussion we've had, it was 200,000 to
For the
contribute.
schematic, it's already approved.
Yes, sir, with, I think it's consistent with what we've done before with the downtown master plan and the courthouse.
And I only ask so that at least budget knows how to prepare on financing that element to take us to the next phase. Concurrently, once we do that, then we can start working on financial models, vehicles, and everything. I would suggest that we meet frequently and designate court members. Judge, if
Yeah.
you want to be there, I'll be there as well to be able to get to those hard questions on all the different financial vehicles that we can use to be able to bridge the gap, the funding gap.
And Sergio, you need to put an item on the agenda to create this building fund.
Yeah, whenever we
can
yes.
start assigning some of these funds that we
We'll start appropriating
have
them
available.
into a construction fund, and then we'll just designate it for that purpose at the end of the year if there's, if funds haven't been expended at that time.
What else do we need to discuss, Ramiro? Does the city need to take action at this meeting or at another meeting?
We're going to have, at our next meeting, we could put it on we'll have to, what I suggest is we amend the interlocal judge that we already have. We had one for the courthouse master plan, and Sergio, we've talked about just amending that one instead of doing a new agreement, so.
Okay. All right.
Judge, for the benefit of the public, I don't know if it's just important to cover a couple notes, at least bullets. We are not looking at increasing taxes, obviously.
Right.
We obviously have to go to the next phase to be able to actually realistically look at what the funding demands are going to be. Second of all, the city I see is financially committed to help us in this next phase of up to $200 and some thousand. And closing, I don't think that, and to curb Commissioner Hassel's concern about, all of our concerns about going through this next phase without fully being committed to construct something, I think that we, looking at the design and going through the next phases, whether or not we have to kick down a design to a phased approach or figure out if we can build the ultimate thing. I think this, you're right, Brian, this is the phase for us to get through. We do know what we're getting into. It's just there are a lot of there's a lot of moving pieces to this, so this is the process of us clearing all these questions and getting down to their bare bone issues.
All right, anybody else want to make any comments? No, not, I guess we'll need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now for the city.
And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our part of the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion carries. We stand adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the presentation.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. We'll be, Councilmember, I think it's maybe good for point one of each, don't you think? So we can meet, kind of like the master now. We had those other three.
And we left off on item number 18A.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, good afternoon, I'm sorry. Item 18A is approval of certification of revenues by the county auditor for the TxDOT reimbursement of Border Colonia Access Program force account labor done by the precinct.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item number 2 is approval of the appropriation of funds into the Precinct 1 Road and Bridge accounts in the amount of $36,346 and 66 cents.
Precinct 2, did you say?
Monday?
Did you say?
Precinct 1. Precinct 1.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Thank you.
Aye, motion carries. Ahora sí, Mingo.
Judge. Good afternoon.
la gallina en vez del gallo?
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners, Judge. Item 20A, requesting approval to name a road located on 7 Mile Line between Iowa Road and Giles Road. That's on the south side of the road, Judge, and it's called La Gallina Road.
La Gallina?
La Gallina. I think it should be named on the east side.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
It is approved by 911.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you,
Mr.
Judge.
You did very well.
Just like you did in Channel 4.
Item 21.
Item 21A is approval of interlocal cooperative agreement between Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 as it relates to the lease agreement of 3.49 acre tract of land out of the Lot 15, Section 245, Texas-Mexican Railway Company Survey, Hidalgo County Precinct 4 property, 1102 North Doolittle.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Item 22A is going to be presented in a workshop. I was advised that it was going to take about an hour.
Yes, sir. We'll be scheduling a workshop with Mr. Looney at a future date. We'll meet with him this afternoon to schedule that workshop and send notice to the...
Move on to 22B.
Item 22B is approval to pay Texas Association of Counties in the amount of $29,065.41 for the unemployment claims for the first quarter of 2013.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
On item 22C, we'll be requesting no action. We'll bring that back next week. Item 22D is discussion, consideration, and approval to submit the Texas Vine reimbursement maintenance invoice in the amount of $7,293.50. And this is for the fourth quarter, with the authority for the judge to sign the required documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 22EA1 is approval of the salary adjustments for all Hidalgo County District Court judges as listed on the Exhibit A to comply with Senate Bill 1 of the General Appropriations Act effective September 1st, 2013. Can I take all of them at the same time, Mr. Crane?
The way you got it worded, you need to keep them separately.
Okay. Move for letting get action on that.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Sergio, the Senate Bill 1 did not include the district attorney's office?
We're still researching that. We contacted the district attorney's office to see if they've gotten any notification. We're also contacting the state comptroller's office, judiciary section, to get that. Once we confirm that, we'll bring that back next week. I know you had brought that to our attention on Friday, during Friday's workshop, so we're still trying to get that, make sure that's worked out. Item E2.
Senate Bill 1 only dealt with the judges' salaries?
It dealt with the district court judges, yes.
And,
However,
but did that also apply to the DA? I mean, isn't his salary tied to the one of a district judge?
I believe so. I know that the county court law judges is tied as well, so we have that item. We're still trying to confirm the DA's item.
Okay.
As soon as we get confirmation, we'll bring that back next week.
All right.
We just need to make sure we get it effective by September 1st. On item 2 is approval of salary adjustments for all Hidalgo County Court at Law judges as listed on Exhibit B, also to comply with Section 25.0005 of the Texas Government Code, and this will also be effective September 1st, 2013.
Steve, do I need to abstain on this?
Yes.
It'd be better if you did.
All right, we need a second? I'll second it. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And we have one abstention for the record, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2.
And item E34 is approval of the interdepartmental transfer and the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's 3 and 4, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
3 and 4.
Motion carries. And one abstention again by Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
All right, thank you. Purchasing?
Yes. Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department, 23A1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item A1B is the scoring grid presented for the purposes of ranking of those firms graded and evaluated for the provision of construction management services in connection with the awarded contract for the renovation and remodeling of the first and second floors of the old admin building. Those are GAS Enterprises at 88.4, Prodigy Construction Management at 94.6, and Broadus and Associates at 91.6. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. That'll be Prodigy Construction number 1, and Broadus number 2, and GAS 3.
Yes, and we will proceed to start negotiations for contract on that. Item
Marty,
2.
does the contract with the architect includes construction management?
Oversight on those specific items that are under his contract, but not the general project management of the contract. Now, you can include them as part of some services, but there's some general project management, but this is the construction management.
Right. Because we have an issue with a contract now with another architect, where the contract includes construction management, but we hire a construction management firm. So it appears to be a duplication of efforts, or at least duplication of payment for same services.
Okay,
So-
I'll look at it. This is the first time you brought it up to me, so.
So I think we need to take a look at this contract with the architect to make sure that it doesn't include construction management.
And like I say, I believe the distinction here is that it's probably overall project management as opposed to the actual construction management of the contractor's work.
Isn't it the same thing?
I've always
Not
envisioned,
specifically.
I think the intent is the construction manager represents the county themselves as we're going through the construction phases. I know the architect's, his responsibility is for the contractor itself and making sure that they build it to spec.
Well, for the project as an overall. Also, you did not negotiate the architect to be the representative of the court anyway. So this also serves this
Well,
process.
it's implied, or at least it's stated, that they provide supervision, but that doesn't mean they're going to be there every day.
It's not a
And the
construction
manager is
day-to-day
going to be there on a
management
daily basis.
of your contractor's work.
Judge, the
Yes.
other thing is, I think we've done this for the sheriff's substation office, because Janak had the same, it was the same issue.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, and that's what the contract I'm referring to. We already paid the architect for construction management, which was included as part of the scope of services in
It's
the
a
contract.
different level of services.
But yes, exactly. It is a different level of services. It's more of a
Marty,
general
why didn't
obligation.
you include, the ability to negotiate with the number 1 rank?
We're gonna do it anyway. We've already set up the meeting.
All
We're
right.
gonna bring it to you. That would be the next.
You don't need authority for that?
Well, I have authority from the court to negotiate the contracts and bring them
Okay.
to you. Now, you don't have to accept whatever I present or
All right.
as negotiated. That's why I mentioned we've already set up the appointment. I usually put it on, it just didn't get on this time, but
All right.
Normally you have a separate
it's
item,
the next phase in any case of the process.
because normally you have a separate item, right, Marty, where you
Yes, sir.
petition court approval to enter into a
Yes, sir.
contract?
Yes, sir, it is. But that's why I did mention it in the record, that that would be the natural progression of this type of procurement. Item 2, this is acceptance and approval of the invoices pending payment in the amount of $14,185.62 due to the short pays by the auditor's office against the interlocal cooperation agreement with the city of Edinburgh with those services rendered under the Lynn San Manuel Fire Call Services. These are the two that were making the difference between what Chief Snyder had presented to you last week. Now, they will be picking up, I already confirmed for him, the check that was under discussion last week for $37,000 plus. He will go around 2 o'clock. That has been cleared with the Honorable Norma Garcia. And this one, I believe, won't be on until next week's check run because they received these invoices on Friday and therefore they couldn't be processed in time.
Second. Marty, I don't think we have the invoices yet.
Pardon me?
We don't have the approved invoices yet.
Well, all I was informed by your staff was that you received them on Friday. You may have copies.
We received copies, but see, in order for us to process payment, we gotta have an original invoice approved by department.
And I believe we were working with Chief Martinez because he would be in possession of them. I would not have received them.
Well, I don't know what, who has them, but.
It would be with the fire marshal.
The other thing I wanted to mention is clarification that this $14,000 is not due to short pays. We processed the short pay last week, or court approved it last week, so we take care of that, but this 14,000 was invoices that were issued on August the 5th of this year.
Okay,
So
I
it's not a
apologize
short
then.
pay.
It's two outstanding invoices
Right,
that are due.
right.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve payment. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B, this is Precinct 1, presentation of bids received as detailed and attached herein for the purposes of award and approval of contract document. This is for, there were 7 requested packets, 2 packets received and considered. We're recommending Roy's Hauling, and that is for the purchase of wrap, recycled, reclaimed asphalt pavement materials.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, 1, this is for Precinct 2, acceptance of and approval to award the best value proposal from a job order contractor, that's at Red Eye and Hunt. This is the lighting materials, the electrical to include, installation of electrical to include, but not limited to, lighting materials and any other appurtenances as may be needed for the restroom facility at Lopezville Baseball Park.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Just for the record, the item amount is $19,261.37. Item D1, Precinct 4, this is requesting approval of a professional engineering services agreement with LNG Engineering Laboratory LLC, DBA LNG Engineers, for the purpose of on-call services for geotechnical and construction materials testing.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
E1, Facilities Manager, acceptance and approval to award the best value proposal from job order contractor at Red Eye and Hunt, and this is in the amount of $14,179.60 for repairs and renovations to DPS building located at 1212 South 25th Street, Edinburgh, Texas.
So moved.
Second.
What about funding, Marty? That's not sufficient
There
funding.
was a
Emergency
requisition entered today, this morning, or late last evening.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
F1 is for the Auditor's Office. We're requesting exemption from competitive bidding under 262-024A, 7A, uppercase.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is acceptance and approval of 2 sole source declarations for the following vendors. Caseware International as the sole developer of a CAFR software and related products, which includes licensed technical support software patches and upgrades. That's the first one.
Let's do both of them, Larry. Let's get it
Okay,
done.
the second one is Gray and Associates.
Judge, I have a question.
Oh, I thought you were joking with Mr. Oglazi.
He's joking, but I can
Why do
answer.
you have sold stores and you kept two?
Because
Different
you'll see
product.
you'll see the reason on number 2.
It's a question of purchasing. That's correct.
The second one is Gray and Associates as the sole implementation vendor or contractor for Caseware International for the complete setup of the county CAFR report financial statement services.
Move for approval. All right. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
This will also give us the authority to purchase the products and services described as the sole source declarations, remaining in effect until Commissioners Court rescinds such action.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Need a motion to proceed to executive session pursuant to 551-071 and 072.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. We'll be in executive session. Back in open session.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 25A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same FM 681 project, parcels 55A and 55B. Judge, Commissioners, I want to refer back to item 7A1 and 2 as it pertains to that item I just read. I'm asking under 7A1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 26202-484, a professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation. If I could have an exemption or a motion to that effect?
45A. Move for 25A.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And 7A2, I'm requesting engagement with the firm of Dan Rios for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation, authority to submit a letter of engagement, specifically agenda item 25A, which is the real estate acquisition appropriation for same, which is the FM 681 project, parcels 55A and 55B.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
There is no action under 25B, pending under potential. Item 25C, claim of AT&T. Judge, Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $574.09.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 25D, civil action number 13-261, Jose G. Perez and Maria Guadalupe Perez versus Guadalupe Lupe Trevino, Sheriff of Hidalgo County, Texas, et al. Judge, Commissioners, I'd like authority to amend our letter of engagement for legal services as it pertains to that civil action number I just read out with the law firm of Preston Henriksen. I'd like to disclose and have authority to notify Mr. Henriksen that that we are authorizing him to exceed individual expenses in the amount of $500.
So moved.
Exceeding that amount.
Second.
500?
Favor, say aye.
Exceeding the amount of 500.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 25E, cause number 2940-11D, County of Hidalgo, Texas versus Insurers Indemnity Company. I shall proceed as directed. Judge, Commissioners, that is all we have this afternoon.
So moved. For adjournment.
Second.
Adjourn, second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Monica.
Have a safe trip, Judge.
Thank you, thank you.
What the hell?
No te importa.